Hello, I am Miriam Weiskind, based in Brooklyn, New York. I am a former creative director turned professional pizza baker, also known as Pizzaiola. I found my passion in the midst of the pandemic, started baking pizzas from home using the minimal amount of ingredients and tools. So I'm here today to teach you how to bake amazing pizza at home. Are you ready? Let's do this. I started baking pizza because my mom told me it would help keep me happy, make me happy, and not be so sad. My mom was the kind of person that always did for others. Rosh Hashanah, she'd put 200 bottles of honey into a car and drive it around and to ensure everyone had a Happy New Year. So my mom and my dad both got COVID in July of 2020, and on August 20th, my mom passed away. So I started giving away free pizzas to anyone who lost a job, to anyone who was a first responder or essential worker, or to anyone who was sad like me, to brighten their day. I like to say that every pie I bake is like a beat of my mom's heart. So I'm grateful to be in a community where I can share not just the gift of making amazing pizza, but to be able to continue to spread the goodness and kindness of my mom's heart and to inspire others around the world to do good and to be good to others. So thank you for being a slice of my journey. The first two tools that you need for baking pizza are going to be the surface you're baking on and the oven it goes in, as well as a pizza peel. And what that is that most people think it looks like a paddle, it's actually a peel. It's important that you find a peel that is really thin at the tip. You'll see thicker ones, they're a little bit difficult to launch off of. That's why I prefer to stick with a thinner peel. And then I'm going to show you the towel trick on how you launch into the oven. Speaking of which, that's another important tool. So inside here, you're going to see two pieces of steel. And why is steel better than stone? Not only does it conduct heat better because it's steel, but it also retains heat. When it comes to making our dough, the most important tool in the kitchen for making pizza is going to be a scale, okay? Other basics include a bowl. You're gonna wanna have a spatula. And then finally, what's the most important part after you bake the pizza? It's gonna be slicing and serving. So what way to be even more authentic to New York style pizza is to use a legit pizza slicer. And then finally, the last remaining tools, a pizza screen and a pizza tray. Are you guys ready to make some dough? As I like to say, let's dough this. Let's talk about the basics for making pizza dough. There are only 4 things that you're going to need, with a bonus 5th thing today. You're gonna use flour. Why do I prefer this flour above all others? 1, it's not bleached and it's non-bromated. Those are key things in ensuring that you're using a healthier flour, all right? So the next ingredient after you have flour is going to be your starter. In this case, we're gonna do the easy thing. You're gonna go to the grocery store and pick up a packet of active dry yeast, all right? And then you're gonna need salt. I prefer a fine grain sea salt. The more coarse the salt, the harder it is to incorporate it. Don't use the iodized, stick with the sea salt, all right? And then we're gonna use water. This is pretty basic, guys. And then the final ingredient, our little New York twist, is going to be a good extra virgin olive oil. I prefer a Sicilian, Italian olive oil. What this oil is going to do, it's gonna help give our dough elasticity. And so this is gonna enable us to stretch a dough nice and smoothly. What you're gonna do is go ahead and pour your flour into your bowl. You'll measure that on your scale. So the next step, go ahead and open that packet of yeast, all right? I'm gonna take this off of here, and then we're gonna put our flour back on the scale. Go ahead and just toss that in, give it a little bit of a yeast tap. Now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna incorporate the yeast into the flour. Then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna use the castle and moat method. I learned this from the New York City Pizza School here in New York City, is where you're basically gonna push all of that flour into the middle and create a little flour castle, because pizza making should be magical. Our next step is going to add our fridge water. So I'm gonna slowly stir in my moat. And what you'll notice is you'll start to see these bubbles in your mixture. What that means is that our yeast has life, okay? All right, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hand and you're gonna reach underneath and we're gonna put on top, I'm gonna push down, all right? And by the end of this, the goal is for this bowl to be completely clean of all flour and water, all right? We're going to grab a towel and we're just gonna cover this dough for about 20 minutes and we're gonna let it relax, okay? And in the meantime, let's get saucy. The secret behind a really good sauce is simplicity. And when you're picking tomatoes, you wanna go with a whole peeled tomato versus a crushed. They come from a different place on the vine. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take another container and you're gonna go ahead and dump the contents of this container into that. And so we're gonna use an immersion blender. If you do not have an immersion blender, you can use a fork or you can use your hands. We're gonna be very gentle. We don't wanna see a ton of bubbles when we do this. So you're gonna go in and you're just gonna gently pulse. And so one other trick is if you want it to be a little more liquidy, add a little bit of water. Okay, add a little bit of water. I'm gonna take a little bit of dried oregano and I'm gonna sprinkle that in. We're gonna take our immersion blender. We now have our pizza sauce is ready for our pizza. So after letting this relax for 20 minutes, go ahead and take the towel off. It's time to assault our dough. We're just gonna sprinkle that on top. So you're basically gonna pat the dough. And this is the time when you can just sort of put that love into your pizza dough, okay? Now I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna squeeze it in a little bit. And then I'm gonna start to knead this. All right? So once that salt feels like it's been incorporated, we're gonna put the extra virgin olive oil into the cup and we're gonna add that to the dough, okay? And what the oil is gonna do, it's gonna help with color, but more importantly, it's gonna help us by giving that dough elasticity, all right? So then what you're gonna do is you're gonna gently work that in. But what I'm doing is I'm folding it over and I'm pushing it down. I take a little bit of flour and I'm just gonna sprinkle that in the bowl, a little bit and a little bit on top. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna help for the oil to absorb into the dough even more. So you're gonna go ahead and take that out of the bowl and just set it on your counter. You're gonna rest this for 2 minutes. You're gonna take a little bit of flour, again, and you're gonna just sprinkle some of that on. Cover the surface. You're going to gently pick it up, flip it over onto some of that flour. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fold and push out, rotate. We're gonna fold and push down, and you wanna be nice and gentle, okay? And what you'll notice that as we're kneading this dough ball is starting to smooth out and come to life, all right? When your dough is completely ready to go to bed for 1 to 5 days, the structure is going to be strong, and when we pull up the dough, it's not going to break. You just need to you just wanna give this a little bit of time to relax. And then you're gonna take that towel and you're gonna cover this for a few minutes. We're gonna go into our final knead. This is where the dough has been relaxing a little bit. We have a little bit of bench flour left here. So you're gonna take that piece of dough, and you can see it's really coming together. And we are ready to prep this dough for pizza night, all right? So what you're gonna do is in the final process, it's kind of like making dumplings. We're gonna go ahead and pinch the bottom shut, okay? You're gonna take these things called your hands and you're gonna gently pull toward yourself. If you've ever made a sourdough bread, it's this very similar process. So you're gonna take this dough ball and you're gonna cut it into 4 even pieces. We'll now stick this in the fridge for 1 to 5 days and we'll be ready to have a pizza party. All right, guys, it's time to get cheesy. All right, let's talk about cheese. The 3 core elements to pizza are crust, sauce, and cheese, all right? So when it comes to cheese, we are going to use a fresh mozzarella. This is a water-based cheese. When you buy this in a grocery store, it comes in a ball. And what we're gonna do is, because we're gonna be baking for about 6 to 8 minutes on the baking steel, we wanna use a thicker cut of the cheese. But there's a lot of moisture in this cheese, so a really good home baking tip for pizza is you're gonna take a paper towel and you're gonna put that paper towel into the bowl, let's say about an hour before baking. And we're gonna go ahead and cut up this cheese. But in order to drain that moisture out, you're gonna put the cheese inside of the bowl, and that paper towel is gonna pull all the extra moisture out of the cheese. Let's make some margherita pizza. So once you take your dough out of the containers, you're going to use a little bit of semolina flour. Then you're gonna pop that dough ball into the semolina and coat both sides. What that's gonna do is it's going to keep your dough from being sticky while you stretch, okay? We are going to gently stretch out this pizza dough. What I'm doing is that for 24 hours, this dough has been forming gas and carbon dioxide. So that's what all these, and if you look here, you can see the bubble rising. That's what that is. That's a very good thing. Because as you age or ferment the dough, the more flavorful it becomes. You're gonna flip it over, get a little bit of semolina on there. You're gonna pick up the dough and you're gonna grab your pizza peel, okay? And what we'll do is we're gonna put some semolina onto the peel. Now, when you're holding your dough, you wanna always keep your hand curled in because if you use your fingers, you're gonna poke holes into it, all right? So you're gonna take your pizza dough and you're gonna gently open it up. You don't wanna touch the center. So you notice how I'm just opening it up very gently. And then we're gonna take that pizza, we're gonna put it onto the peel, and you make it round. And the first thing we're gonna add is we're gonna use the sauce, all right? And you're gonna do a spoonful. And then very lightly, when you put the sauce on, you just press very lightly. And I call this putting a crop circle on because that's what it looks like. All right, so the next thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put a little bit of pecorino romano cheese. You're gonna sprinkle it on. I call it making it snow in the summer in New York, okay? So you're gonna go ahead and sprinkle that on. That's gonna add flavor. It's gonna add the salt, okay? And then we're gonna take the mozzarella that we cut, and we're just gonna put a couple of these discs on here like so. So then you're gonna add the extra virgin olive oil like so. Our basil's gonna go on after for this particular pizza. If you wanna give it a little bit of a shimmy, make sure it's gonna come off the peel, we're good. And we're gonna go ahead and put this on our baking steel. All right, and we're gonna leave that in the oven for about 3 minutes before we go in and rotate it on the steel. So post-bake, we're gonna cut the basil to top the pie. And the reason you cut the basil leaf open is so that the oil can be extracted and it'll flavor the pizza. All right, you guys, classic margherita. The easiest way to elevate this pie with a twist is taking some fresh arugula, some prosciutto, and some shaved crushed parm, and we're gonna turn this pie into a magical masterpiece. So, pretty simple. We're gonna take the arugula, and when you're making this pizza, what is key is you always wanna cut the pie before putting the arugula on. That way you're not cutting through it. But you're gonna take the arugula, and you're just gonna spread that out all around the pizza. And then you're gonna take the prosciutto, and each piece is going to get a piece of prosciutto. And then you're gonna take some shaved parm, and just sort of, you know, break it apart on there. Guys, this is incredible. We took what is an iconic pizza, we added 3 extra ingredients and elevated it to a level that you won't even believe this came out of your own home oven. If you ask me, I think that salad plates are now overrated. Let's just put it all on top of our pizza. We are going to cover the most controversial topic in New York City, pineapple on pizza. So we're making a Hawaiian pizza, and one of the biggest mistakes that home chefs make is that they empty a can of pineapple and throw chunks on. The critical and most important part to making a successful Hawaiian pizza is pineapple preparation. If you prepare your pineapple just right, you're gonna turn all of those people that dislike pineapple into the biggest fans of it on pizza. Find yourself a nice ripe pineapple. What is my favorite part? Twisting off the top. We're gonna prep the pineapple really fast. Go ahead and cut off the top and the bottom. Okay, you're gonna cut that in half. We're gonna save that part for later. And we're gonna go ahead and cut the outside skin off. Put our other part of the pineapple off to the side. And then this piece is gonna get cut in half. And with the pineapple, you don't want the really thick part in the middle. We're gonna go ahead and slice that off. You can save this and use it in a smoothie, but for pizza, we're not gonna need that right now. What we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this into really thin pieces. What I'm gonna do is I'm now gonna cut this up even more. We want little pieces, but this is the perfect size pineapple. And now we're gonna elevate the home chefs to make a Hawaiian pizza, which, by the way, fun tidbit, originated and it was invented in Canada. We're gonna go ahead and stretch this dough out. I call this spinning like a DJ. I'm gonna pick that up. Go ahead and put the semolina on the peel. Alrighty, so you slowly open that up. You have your beautiful pizza. You go ahead and put that on the peel. That beautiful sauce that you made earlier, go ahead, give it a little stir and a spoonful. And as I like to say, when you're making a pizza, you should really work to make it beautiful. And that goes with every step of the way, okay? So we just put our tomato sauce on. We're gonna do a little bit of pecorino romano, make it snow. I'm going to use the Genoa salami. Growing up, my dad used to have poker games all the time, and there would be cold cuts. And the one meat I always loved most was salami. So I created a Hawaiian pizza that pays tribute to my dad in a way. And I think it offers a more unique flavor. Because I'm not a fan of ham, I'm a huge fan of the salami. So we're gonna make a Hawaiian pizza with salami. You want every slice to get its own piece of salami. And then we're going to add the cheese. And I'm gonna put the cheese on top. And again, this is the cheese that we cut earlier. And you can break it apart like so. And then we're gonna take our pineapple. And again, think about it that you want each bite to have a little piece of pineapple. And we're gonna launch this into the oven. Let's go get tropical. All right, baking steel, we got this. There we go, I'm getting the brown on the cheese. Oh my God. So let's slice it up and take a bite. To Hawaiian pizza, to pineapple on pizza, life is sweet. Start doing it. We just made an amazing margherita pizza and the most controversial topping on pizza, pineapple. We want to know in the comment section, tell us if you love or you hate pineapple on pizza. Better yet, bake up a pie, take a photo, and tag us on Instagram. Don't forget to subscribe. But until next time, guys, pizza is love. Have a slice day.